keys are in the car. Enjoy it while it lasts. There's always someone out there who's a little faster than you are. And sooner or later, they're gonna catch up.
Hey, what is going on, guys? LP-RIPPER24 here, and I have the privilege to be talking to TAHMOH Panic. Did I say that right?
You got it.
I got it? Okay, I probably shredded it, but I'm working as hard as I can to be able to pronounce your name right, brother, and thank you so much for being in this interview with me. It's an honor to be talking to you. Guys, you guys know who this man is. This is no other than Darius from Need for Speed Carbon and many other shows, movies out there, and it's a pleasure to have you here, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. The pleasure's all mine.
Excellent. So tell me, man, I'm gonna be asking you about 10 questions here, and I just really want you to expand on your ideas and thoughts, and tell me, what was it like to play your role in Need for Speed Carbon? Because the whole community is ready to ask you that question. What was it like? Do you still remember those days?
I absolutely remember it, but I'll tell you honestly, man, that was one of the first times in video games, as far as I understood it, that they were using mocap. But it was the original technology for motion capture, right? So I was really excited. I remember getting the gig. They told me about it. My agent told me about it. I was very excited when I got there and creatively started talking to the director. I believe it was David Goodman, who I still believe is a big director in that world. I saw David a couple of years ago when I was working in Toronto, and he was trying to get me for a Ubisoft game. And he's out in Montreal, working for them, and he's still a big director in the video game world, in the gaming world. But he was describing everything we were doing. There was a ton of makeup, and the reason they were doing that is because with the motion capture and all the. You see, I've got a thing here saying poor connection up on the screen. Can you see me okay?
Good. Yeah, I'm seeing you good.
Okay, man. Okay, if we lose connection, you know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was describing everything, and then when I saw the sets, like a lot of it was green screen, right? When you've got me sitting down in that beautiful R8 and all that, I'm going, there's no R8. I'm going sitting on a box. It's all that world, but it was the beginning of it. It was the first time they were using that technology. So everything was great when it was just me acting with the other actors. That stuff was a blast. We had so much fun. There was a bunch of talented actors on there. The task, the arduous part, because the technology was so new, was they put me in a booth, and there'd be like 100 lights in there and 100 different cameras. Now, when I'm pretending to race against you, when you're racing against me, the higher levels, even when I'd have to react to you as the racer, I'd have to go really slowly. I'd have to react slowly. I couldn't just be natural in my movements or reactions because the computer couldn't keep up, because they'd done a virtual, capture of my face. So the computer was so slow at the time that if I moved too quickly, if I answered too quickly or did a quick reaction, the computer couldn't keep up. Now I know the motion capture is so much better. I was just working on a video game recently, and the technology it's a different world, man. You put it on, whatever you do, the computer's reading it. So you don't even have to think about it, other than the fact that you're wearing a whole contraption on your face. So yeah, my experience shooting back then was great. That was just the toughest part, was like sitting in that booth and kind of getting my eyes burned out by 100 cameras and a ton of lights, and try not to, act too fast or react too fast because the director's telling me to slow it down.
That's amazing, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for sharing that experience and how exciting it was for you to do that. Now, for the second question I want to ask you is, do you play games? Do you still play video games, or you really don't?
So, as a kid, I was a huge gamer, man. I grew up in like northern Canada. And even growing up there, though, ever since I was a little kid, I remember as a little kid, my dad buying me like mini, Donkey Kong video game systems. I started off, dude, my generation, my age, I started off with the very first video game systems. Yes. I remember my Atari 2600. I remember when Super Nintendo came out, it was a big deal for me. But even before Super Nintendo came out, I was reading on gaming. I was such a gamer and so excited about, like, I remember I'd buy these Japanese magazines and hearing about the TurboGrafx 16, which was the first 16-byte video game system. So it was before the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. It was the first 16-byte system. I begged my parents. I kicked and screamed and begged and saved up money, and I was like, please order this for me. The TurboGrafx 16 was an amazing system. It was the first 16-bit video game system. But the problem is they really didn't support the video game system, so it didn't have a ton of games. So it came with a few games, but it got once Nintendo and Genesis came out, it just it kind of disappeared because they really didn't support the gaming system with a number of games. There was only a handful of games, so it was a cool system. I owned it for a minute, but I eventually jumped on board and I got a Super Nintendo.
Oh my God! So you have it in your blood, don't you?
Yeah, man, and I gamed all through, right into high school. I loved my video game systems. What another thing I begged for and I ended up buying was the Atari Lynx. Now the Lynx was generations ahead of any video game system. Even to this day, it would be really impressive. I remember reading about this thing, and this thing was like, it'd be like a lot of the handhelds today. This was, unheard of at the time for a video game system to be able to do this. But if you were left or right-handed, you could just turn it upside down. They would switch. It would switch for you.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? You could flip at 180. So if you were a left-handed gamer, it will work better for you. It was incredible. But again, the problem with Atari, there was all this hype. It was a really powerful handheld system, but the games didn't. The other developers, they didn't make enough video games for it. So again, it just kind of disappeared. So I was always buying these latest systems that were touted as the next big thing, but Nintendo and Genesis and things like that, Sega were coming and just making them disappear.
Man, that's awesome. And talking about video games, let's go back to Need for Speed. How does it feel for you to be the villain of Need for Speed Carbon? And do you want to play a different role? And do you really like being the villain in movies? Is that what you really feel natural doing? Or what is it like?
So much of my career, when I started off my acting career, I did 3 significant critically acclaimed television series back to back for 8 years straight, and I always played the upstanding hero. So, with the exception of Need for Speed, which was a very small gig in between all that. Then right after that, I was really seeking out the bad guy roles. They're a lot of fun, man. I wanted to play them. I was always playing the moral compass, the hero of all these, Battlestar Galactica, Dollhouse on Fox, Joss Whedon's Dollhouse. Cold Squad, which was a Canadian television series. So I did these 3 television series back to back, and I was always the hero. So I was seeking out the bad guy roles for a number of years, and they're a blast, man. They're a ton of fun. And when I did Need for Speed, it was a ton of fun, and I love playing it when I have the opportunity. They're great. You get to oftentimes you get to throw a little humor in there. Sometimes you can be a little big. They're a blast, man.
So what made you pursue acting? What was it? What was the thrill for you?
I think I always wanted to do it ever since I was a kid. Like I said, I was born and raised in northern Canada, and my father was an actor when he was young. He gave me a big appreciation of the arts. He would always take me to movies, and I'd see actors up on the big screen. And growing up in a small, isolated place, I always just imagined being able to do that. I thought, what an incredible job to be able to play different characters, shoot in different locations. It just sounded incredible to me, and it was always a dream for me. And I maybe didn't vocalize it and share it with a lot of people, but it was always something that I knew I wanted to work towards. So as soon as I was old enough and done high school, I moved to the big city and started pursuing acting.
Nice. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember working with Dean McKenzie and EMMANUELLE in Need for Speed? Do you remember those 2 actors, the actress and Dean McKenzie?
Yeah, EMMANUELLE was amazing. Yeah, EMMANUELLE and I, we always run into each other, and we joke around here and there. We don't always run into each other, but we do down the road. I've seen her in LA many times. I've seen her at different conventions. Emmanuelle Fournier. She's
Fournier, yes.
fantastic. I love her.
Yeah, I've been trying to reach out to her. And what up? You remember Dean? He remembers you.
Yeah, of course I remember Dean. Dean's amazing.
Yep, there you go, man. So it was awesome to see you work with them. I mean, honestly, just seeing you right now is bringing me so many memories of all the hard work you've done. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen the game since it came out, man. You know what's so funny, Luis, is that I'm really inactive on Instagram, as you probably noticed.
Yeah, I saw a few
I've been trying to
images.
make more effort because, yeah, I'm a busy man. I got a family. I'm busy with my career and my other activities and my other passions. I'm not the best at social media, but ever since I got on Instagram, I've had diehard fans. Every single day, I get a message, a private message, a message from a Carbon fan who's like, dude, they're like, Darius, all the time.
Yes.
I remember the first time I got on IG, I was like, wow, that's so weird. That's a game from so long ago. And the fact that gamers are still talking about it is really touching to me. And I think it's incredible. People are always sending me messages just saying, man, it was such an iconic game. I loved you in it. It was amazing that you did it. And I just get I get a lot of touching messages about it. So I think it's fantastic that it's still relevant to this day, this many years after the fact.
It really is, brother. And you know, again, today I'm still here in awe. And yes, when I was gonna say Darius, when Tamut says, I'm a busy man. Let me tell you, I've been chasing this man for the past maybe 5 days, trying to find the time.
Yeah.
Is so not easy, and I don't blame him. I mean, I'm a busy man too. So when it comes to finding this time to do all these things, is again, you guys have, you wouldn't even, I don't know how to even imagine the amount of workload that you have, man. So thanks for that.
Yeah. It's good though. I'm happy we did this, man. And in all honesty, this is, as far as I remember, the first and the only Need for Speed focused interview that I've ever done.
Yes, that is true.
So you're the first.
Man, you know what? It's an honor to do that. Now, so after the game launch, you've done a lot of things. I've seen you in movies. I've seen you in Arrow. You were also in Arrow, which is one of my favorite shows out there. So what happened after Need for Speed? You said it was a small gig. So what happened after that? Because obviously you have grown so much.
Yeah, when I say small, I mean, I only did it for so many days. And at the time I was working on a huge critically acclaimed TV series. And then I was on to an next. Dude, I've been doing this 20 years. So it'd be hard for me to sit here and talk about my resume. But, I've in all humility, I've been blessed. I've worked on a lot of different things with a lot of different people. But there's ebbs and flows with this business. Sometimes you're really busy. Sometimes it's slower. It's I've worked on many films, many TV shows. I've been doing it professionally for close to 20 years now, very close. So I'm doing what I love, man. I'm living the dream. It's fantastic. I just wrapped a film probably 2 weeks ago now, where I got to work with some fantastic actors. Ali Larder, who's amazing. She's kind of well known for the Resident Evil franchise. She's one of the main actors on that. Ron Perlman's on the film. Ralph Ineson, all like big, fantastic actors. And we shot that in BC. That was really good. I did a couple episodes of 90210 in the summer.
Okay.
I played the bad guy on that. I played a real asshole on that, which is, it was comedic and fun. So those are just a couple of recent gigs. A year and a half ago, I was working with a dear friend and mentor of mine, Everett James Olmos, who's an incredible actor and filmmaker. And I was doing an amazing film with him. And he had Charlie Sheen in it. He had a loaded cast. So yeah, man, I'm just working. I'm doing my thing. I'm living the actor's lifestyle.
That's nice. And you are in Canada, right?
I'm in Canada mostly. I lived off and on in LA for a good 13 years, but I'm based more in Vancouver now. It's always been the home base. Oh. And I'm happy to be here, man. I love Vancouver. I'll be in LA.
Have you ever been to Texas?
I have many times.
You have? Oh, nice. Well, that's my hometown. So yeah, man.
Where in Texas?
Houston, Texas.
Houston. Yeah, I've been to Houston, man. I've done a couple conventions there.
No way.
I wish I spent more time there, but it was like I was there for 3-4 day periods. The problem with fan conventions is they're working you from morning to night, so you really don't get to check out too much.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So now tell me about cars. Do you like cars? Are you into cars too, or no? That's not a thing for you.
Yeah, of course. How could I not be, man? I love vehicles. I love vehicles, man. My lady is actually, she's a stunt woman, and she does a lot of stunt driving. She, funny enough, was the main stunt driver. She doubled Dakota Johnson in the 50 Shades Grey, the last film.
Really?
And that's when they debuted on film. They only had a handful of the new R8s in North America, and they had 2 of them for that film. And she was racing them, doing all the stunt scenes and that. Yeah, so she's a badass. She's a way better driver than me, man. We were actually just down at the BMW racetrack outside of Palm Springs last week, and she was doing some stunt training down there. She gets to race. The BMW racetrack is fantastic down there. They have incredible instructors, and she was down there with a bunch of other stunties from Vancouver, and they get to race all the M's.
Nice.
So the M3, the M7, the M5, and they get to just rat the piss out of them on the racetrack, man.
Nice, man. Well, now getting towards the end of the interview, would you, if you ever were asked by Need for Speed or EA, and they were to ask you, if you had the opportunity to return to Need for Speed, would you be okay with it? Would you be up for it?
Only if I'm playing Darius again.
That's right.
Let's bring back Darius. Let's get a hashtag going, man. Let's get Darius back.
Man, we would love to see
I want to come back to Need for Speed, man.
And
I'd be honored. That would be a blast.
Yeah, man. Honestly, you play such a great role in this game, and honestly, we all remember you. And I was immediately, as soon as I did all my other interviews, they were saying, "Where is Darius at? Where is he?" Because everybody knows Darius. Everybody wants to know where Darius is at. So
That's awesome.
I'm glad that we brought you back, man, here on this interview. It's such a privilege. And do you have any special messages to the fans, to the community, to your own fan base, and also the Need for Speed fan base? Anything you want to tell them?
You know what? Honestly, if there's one thing any actor will tell you, being in the business as long as I have, you get served your humble pie a lot. I've had a lot of success, but I've had some downturns too. And the one thing that sees you through consistently, and I've always been so appreciative of, is the fans. You guys keep us employed. You buy our product. You look for us. You support us. And we wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to pursue my passion, my dream, small town Yukon boy. Wouldn't be able to do what I love on this stage if I didn't have your guys' support. So even though you guys are a very specific community, and let's be honest, the gaming community is huge and incredible, but we're talking a very specific genre, right? You guys you're reaching out to me in a video game that I did so many years ago, where you would think that, it'd become obsolete and just passé because it's old. It isn't. It's still alive and well, and you guys are still reaching out and sending me love. And all I can say is I appreciate it so much, and I'm sending the love back to you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm really touched, man. And I look forward to hopefully reprising my role or doing a different one. Let's make it happen, and let me play a different bad guy or a good guy or something for you guys in the future.
There you go, EA. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting
do it,
for,
EA.
EA? All right, man. And listen, I also saw your CAMEO profile. So I'll leave the link below.
Yeah.
So they can check you out. I know that you can send some sweet messages.
Yeah, do that, man. Do that.
Yeah, I saw the messages.
Yeah, dude, I love it. CAMEO is actually a blast.
Yeah, so I saw the wishes, the birthday wishes, the Christmas wishes, the song that you were singing for someone. That's really cool, man. The fact that you did that. I was watching it, man. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna get a good background on what TAHMOH does, and man, I appreciate you, man, for all the hard work you do. And guys, go check him out. Link is also to his Instagram page below, and also his CAMEO, and any other social media that I can leave below for you guys that links you to Darius is also below in the description of this video.
Yeah, throw my Twitter account on there, dude.
I will. You know what? I'll follow you on Twitter too. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys.
Okay,
well,
brother.
thank you so much.
Be well. Thank you so much.
You guys are awesome. This is LP-RIPPER24, and this is TAHMOH/Darius. See you guys soon. LP-RIPPER24.
Be well, guys.
And I'm out.
I still don't know what happened that night you took off. But I do know you're into me now for some serious cash. Things have been getting a little too close for comfort around here with all these crews battling for new territory. I think I could use someone with your skills to help me out. The way I see things, I bailed you out of a serious jam twice now. Time for you to return the favor.